Well, it is Canadian Infertility Awareness Week, and joining me this morning, medical doctor and fertility specialist Dr. Timea, Belej, and naturopathic doctor Dr. Tanya Wylde. They have gone through infertility themselves, now on a mission to help other women and men start to expand their families, so there are a lot to consider. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having us.
What's interesting is both of you come from different worlds, sort of the medical world and the naturopathic world, but you also come at it from a personal struggle. So let's talk about what you've done, what you've dealt with to expand your families.
We started trying with my husband after having been together for 5 years, having bought a house, having traveled, and so finally we were ready to start a family. And we went from the most simple treatments, such as pills, for example, and insemination, all the way through to in vitro fertilization, and we do have a 12-year-old daughter now.
And so you were successful through IVF.
Yes.
And for yourself, Tanya?
So I delayed trying to have kids for career first, and then was actually treating a lot of patients with infertility, or fertility. I like to call it subfertility because usually there's a happy ending, or we hope.
Sure.
I unfortunately got diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, which kind of delayed my menstrual cycles and caused some issues delaying conception. But now we have 2 healthy children, and after several miscarriages, it was a little bit challenging, but I'm so happy that in some ways I went through it, because now I know I can be more compassionate and I can help my patients. And,
right. And we were talking off camera. This is one of those things that most people only talk about once there's a resolution, right?
Right.
Whether they've become pregnant, whether they've accepted that they're not going to have children, or whether they go on to adopt or something along those lines. But no one really talks about the journey. So we want to talk about the journey itself. So this is interesting because you've teamed up for this book and coming again from these 2 different worlds, because some people choose to go one or the other, right? So let's talk about things that we can do. Let's start with some natural things. You have a list of top 3 foods that help stimulate, at least. So what are those foods?
So generally, I like to make recommendations to just have a non-refined diet, because you want to take sugar right out of your diet, because it can be very toxic. You know, food can be medicine, or it can act as medicine. It can also be very act as your poison. And I like to focus on nutrient-dense foods, so avocados, which are rich in folate, spinach, which is also rich in folate, and then blueberries, which are high in antioxidants. So all 3 of those are really high in antioxidants.
So are we thinking to you know, eating these just as part of your regular diet, or having a lot more of
those?
Okay.
I like to make them blended in smoothies, but then generally speaking, I like to choose those as my top 3, because they're just really nutrient dense by weight. Avocados are really high in essential fats. And they fill you up, and generally speaking, you want the more fiber, the more filling, the less likely you're going to have weight gain, and you want to try and keep a healthy weight when you're trying to conceive.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, these are delicious foods anyway, so might as well insert them into your diet.
Yes.
And someone who's trying, as I personally know as well, you try everything you possibly can. What works for one person may not necessarily work for the other, but why not give these things a shot? So you also have some supplements that you think would maybe help as well.
Yes, it's very important to take a prenatal vitamin, because it has folic acid, which helps to reduce birth defects, as well as neural tube or spine defects in the children, as well as coenzyme Q, which helps to energize the sperm.
And where can you buy that, coenzyme Q?
You can buy it at health food stores. We do also carry it at Nova Fertility and Reproductive Health at our clinic. However, it's best to check with your naturopath, as they have the best kind of options for you. And then the last one is vitamin D, because that has also been shown to improve egg health and outcomes.
I want to cover also, this is not just about women, because this is all stuff that women can take, but what about men? There's also tests for men to take as well. How do they get involved? What's involved there?
So men usually start with a semen analysis or a sperm test, and they can also take a multivitamin that contains vitamin C, E, zinc, selenium, and folic acid.
And we often talk about folic acid or folate, which we get naturally from foods and from our prenatal for women, but men need it for their sperm development as well.
Interesting.
So yeah, supplementally they can also take CoQ10. And it's not always about the women who are having issues, and we can test their sperm for this cool test called DNA fragmentation, which basically tells us how damaged the sperm is. And you know, if you're a cigarette smoker, you can remove that from your diet, and you can improve your lifestyle to improve the outcome of that, which is kind of nice to merge conventional medicine tests with, you know, outcome with naturopathic medicine treatments.
And you should consider the partner as well, because there are 2 of you involved here in most scenarios. So definitely all that you can do to increase your chances. So the book itself is called Embrace Your Fertility. It is available online and in bookstores now. All the information is on breakfasttelevision.ca. Also, we're going to continue this discussion at 7:40. Entertainment City's Teri Hart will be here to share her journey, and you will be joining her as well to answer some more questions from the medical world.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much to you both.
Thank you so much.
Let's go over to Kevin now.